High-pass RC filter analysis. Analysis of a simple passive high-pass filter. In the previous lesson, we introduced filters and their terminology, and we analyzed this first-order low-pass filter. We also worked through an example problem. In this lesson, we do a similar thing, but with a high-pass filter. We construct our high-pass filter by swapping the positions of the resistor and the capacitor. Here's our high-pass filter, and the low-pass filter, and the high-pass filter again. Notice how the resistor and the capacitor have swapped positions. Notice also that the output voltage is now measured across the resistor instead of the capacitor. A small change in position leads to a huge change in function. For this first-order high-pass filter, I'll show the equations for gain and phase shift along with their Bode plots, and we'll analyze DC and AC signals, and finally I'll do a detailed example problem. The analysis is similar to what we did previously for a low-pass filter. We redrew that circuit like a voltage divider, and we do the same with the high-pass filter. Again, low-pass, high-pass. Notice that all we've done is switch the positions of the resistor and capacitor. We use complex impedance phasors as previously, but I don't show all the analysis here. Here are the results for cutoff frequency and gain. It turns out that cutoff frequency is identical to that of the low-pass filter. Here's the gain we had for the low-pass filter. Gain for the high-pass filter is similar, but now we exchange positions of omega and omega cutoff. Again, comparing, here's the high-pass, the low-pass, and the high-pass. Similarly, we had this phase shift for the low-pass filter. For the high-pass filter, omega and omega cutoff again exchange positions, and we lose the negative sign. I'll cycle through these again: high-pass, low-pass, and high-pass. These are our final equations for the high-pass filter. Now let's analyze its behavior for both DC and AC input signals. When the input is DC, omega is 0. The equations show that the gain is 0, and phi is pi over 2, or 90 degrees. An ideal high-pass filter completely removes a DC signal. If we have an AC signal of very low frequency, omega cutoff is much bigger than omega, so gain is small, and phi approaches 90 degrees. So low-frequency AC signals are greatly attenuated, with nearly 90-degree phase shift. When we're right at the cutoff frequency, G is 1 over square root of 2, and phi turns out to be pi over 4, or 45 degrees. At the cutoff frequency, the gain is around 70.7%, and the phase shift is 45 degrees. Isn't that the same as the low-pass filter? That's true, BJ, for the gain, but the phase shift is now positive instead of negative. Oh, thank you, sir. You're welcome, Mr. Drummer. Now consider a very high-frequency AC signal, where omega cutoff is much less than omega. In that case, the gain approaches 1, and the phase shift approaches 0. Signals of very high frequency pass through without much effect. This is why we call it a high-pass filter. Graphically, when an AC voltage passes through a high-pass filter, its output has a smaller magnitude, and the output voltage leads the input voltage. That means that the output peak occurs at an earlier time, and on a time plot like this, the output shifts to the left. This is opposite to that of a low-pass filter. Here are the Bode plots for the high-pass filter. The gain asymptotes to 1 at high frequencies and to a straight line at low frequencies. The phase shift asymptotes to 90 degrees at low frequencies, and there's no phase shift at high frequencies. Let's do an example problem. Our input is a signal that contains both 10 Hz and 1000 Hz components. We want to attenuate the low frequency component to a gain of 0.05. We have a 0.1 microfarad capacitor available, so we need to calculate the cutoff frequency and the resistor that we'll use. Note that this is exactly the same input signal, capacitor, and gain that we prescribed for the previous example problem. But now we want to attenuate the low frequency rather than the high frequency. We'll use our first-order high-pass filter as again sketched here. We start by setting the gain equal 0.05 and solving for the cutoff frequency at the low frequency component of 10 Hz. Here's our equation for our high-pass filter. We set our F and our G and solve for F cutoff. We get almost 200 Hz. This is our first answer. Now we calculate the required resistance using our equation for cutoff frequency. For the given C and the F cutoff we just calculated, I get 7.967 kiloohms. This is our second answer. Now let's compare time traces as we did previously. Here's the plot from our previous lesson, where input is in blue and output is in red. Notice how we attenuated the high frequency component. Here's the plot for our high-pass filter. Notice that high frequency component is still there, but the low frequency 10 Hz component has been greatly attenuated. Well, we specified G of 0.05. Our simple high-pass filter has done its job. Notice also that the output leads the input. There is a small amplitude at 10 Hz, and the peak occurs about here compared to the peak of the input. The output leads the input. In other words, the output trace shifts to the left. In summary, we analyzed in detail a first-order passive high-pass filter, which we constructed with one resistor and one capacitor. We compared the behavior and performance of this high-pass filter with those of the low-pass filter, highlighting similarities and differences. We generated equations for gain and phase shift, and we defined its cutoff frequency. It turns out that gain and phase shift are opposite to those of the low-pass filter, but the equation for cutoff frequency is the same. We showed Bode plots, and we worked through an example problem. The time traces confirm that our high-pass filter did its job. In the next lesson, we'll study more filters. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. 1, 2, 3. That's all there is to it.